Hello everyone and welcome back. It is time for round 2 of the Reddit R F1 Racing League season. This is the Xbox Division 1 and 2 in this particular race, as they're both running with less than 10 guys on the field right now. So we've decided to combine divisions. Points will still be given out based on their divisions, but we are kind of putting them together to fit a fuller field on. So we're headed towards COTA in Austin, USA is going to be for round 2. It was a late track in the first season here, the second to last race of the season, but this season it is up as race number 2. Now, rankings-wise, I've only got Division 1s on hands, but after the first race of the season in Australia, Marco Donaldson took the win there, was able to grab the full 10 points there. As with the smaller league fields, we are running the old school point system that gives points to the first 8 finishers, since there's usually going to be between 10 and 12 racers in the division until we get some more people added in. But Marco Donaldson off with the early start there. Fast 6 driver was P2, grabbing second place. Habs fan Nick is P3 in the division right now. Awakens number 4. Gallymooms 5 is number 5. Voki is number 6. Onslaught number 7. Quimbulus number 8. And QX Nemesis Racer 04 both DNF'd in that first race, are towards the bottom of the league. We do have other entrants, MJ Povey, K3M Rotolos, and NGP Racer, who have yet to contest a race. We're actually getting MJ Povey back on the grid today. We are, however, going to be missing Habs fan Nick and QX Nemesis from this race. K3M and NGP Racer still have yet to make their season debut, but we're headed off to the bright and sunny Austin. No rain clouds in sight for today's qualifying or race. 20 corners around this track that takes quite a bit of inspiration from other circuits around the world. The S's in the first sector really take heavily from Maggots and Beckett's out at Silverstone. And in the third sector, the triple right-hander of turns 17-18 is got a lot of inspiration from turn 8 at Turkey, but just spun the other direction and making a right-hander instead of a left-hander. You see we have 19 cars out on the field, a good mix between the Division 1 and Division 2 guys, so we'll see how they manage to deal with the heavier grid and the more traffic in qualifying here, trying to find a space to turn a good lap. But we're out as one of the Division 2s, the Kel 89, out on his out lap. Looks like everybody's just kind of getting just out on the floor right now. Kel's is going to be the first one to set a flying lap that you see. He's coming down the main overtake zone of this track, down this long back straight as they head to this hard braking zone into turn 12. Look for there to be a lot of action, but the job is not done if you can't get it. This next sector, as you move through turns 13, 14, 15, and 16, there's a lot of switching back and forth going on through this set of corners. Allows the cars to really race side by side quite nicely. So look for more action going out through there. Only 2 DRS zones on the track. One, as we just spoke, between turn 11 and 12, that long back straight, and then also one on the start-finish straight leading up to the massive hill climb into turn 1. We'll see, it looks like Kel is just starting his flying lap, and you can see the elevation change as he heads up. That's going to allow you to brake very, very late into that turn 1 corner, not quite getting it all the way down to the apex there, but carrying decent speed early on, and now through the area that really shows what the F1 cars are capable of. These S's, really, you can carry a ton of speed through there, really feel the downforce working, and especially in the quali trim, you can just see what those cars are capable of. Absolute blistering pace and change of direction through there. Now, one thing to keep in mind as these guys make their rounds around Austin here, a lot of the lap time is found right up at the edge of the track limit, so really getting down onto the curbing of the apexes, the hairpins, and then really taking quite a bit of curb through the S's is going to net you your best lap time around the track. But if you overstep that bounds by just a little bit, you're going to end up with an invalidated lap time. And another action area to kind of look for here in qualifying, maybe not necessarily the race, is going to be the penultimate corner of turn 19. It's a very quick left-hander after that long right-hander, but it's got a blind entry. You're kind of coming over the crest of a hill, so if we do get a chance to look at some onboards, I'll definitely point that out to you. But it looks like he's running a little bit wide through 17 and 18 there. Still, though, has kept it, and you can see just staying inside the track limits there of turn 19. And then turn 20, a slower corner than you'd think. It really closes off on exit, but DRS open, crosses the line. And it doesn't look like it has... oh, there it is. Time has popped up, a 34.1. So not something that's necessarily going to challenge for pole time. You'll probably see the pole time be in the very low 30s and maybe even the high 31s. I mean, rather 29s, sorry. But it looks like MJ Povey in Division 1 has gone on to provisional pole early on, the first into the 30-second mark, a 30.9. And as expected, you're seeing the Division 1 drivers start to set their times and get to the top of the field. Few people that were on outlaps earlier have jumped into the pit lane, so it looks like probably invalidated lap times. Here we are with Sambim. Here is got that red track map, meaning it is an invalidated lap for him. So Calcerdo here jumping on. We will check out his lap time. He had an invalidated one coming through. This may be just an in-lap for him. He just wanted to finish it off and get a feel for it. But let's check out Fast 6 driver in the Ferrari. Came P2 in his first race of the season here, so getting onto the podium early. Marco Donaldson, his teammate in the Ferrari, taking that race win, making the Ferrari 1-2. So definitely getting the constructors off to a good start for the Ferrari team. And right now the top 4 spots of the 6 set times are all occupied by Division 1 drivers. You've got MJ Povey on top, then you've got the 2 Red Bulls of Awakens, who is new to the league this season, and Gottlieb Moons 5. We've got Voki in the Alfa Romeo, who has made his switch from Racing Point last season. Goes from the pink car to the red car, taking a little darker shade. And, Fast 6 driver going a 131.5, putting himself provisionally P2, although there's still about 12 minutes left in this session, plenty of time to set another lap. It's very easy to understeer through this start of the third sector through turns 13 and 14. You really want to try and get that nose rotated. And then the banking and the cambering of the corner turn 16 really can cause the back end of the car to step out on you. So you got to be pretty gentle on the throttle. We'll see how he navigates turn 19 and 20. Seems to taking it a little bit easy through there, not necessarily pushing the track limits super hard, but getting a banker lap in is going to be important. So he's going to cross the line. It's a 135.6. So otherwise, a few cars on their out laps, a lot of cars in the pit lanes or finishing up their flying laps, as we're getting close to about the 11-minute mark left to go in this session. Chuck SRQ, purple first sector for him, a Division 2 driver this season, was a part of the inaugural Xbox Division season, and lap times put him down in Division 2, but look for him to be definitely challenging for top positions all throughout the Division 2 season, and even mixing it up with some of the Division 1 guys as he did last year here in these combined races, which we may see a few of throughout the season. And if with the COVID restrictions opening up here and there, allowing more people to have more free time, the Saturday race day may result in us losing a few members of the league. So if that happens over the course of this season, then we may combine the divisions. But that being said, there are plenty of spots open. All you have to do is head on down to the subreddit RF1 Racing League, and we are more than willing to take on late entrants. You don't necessarily have to be particularly experienced either. It's just kind of trying to get into league racing. Racing online, we all know that online lobbies are full of rammers and crashers and pretty rough drivers. Here we try and drive a little bit more safely and create a good racing experience for everyone, and we'll have a time trial thread that you'll post a few lap times into, and that will sort you into either Division 1 or Division 2 going forward. And it's not just the Xbox divisions that are taking on additional players. We do have PC divisions, 3 of them currently, and 1 PlayStation 4 division. So if you're playing on other platforms and watching this and looking to get into some league racing, go ahead and check out the subreddit, and we may have a slot for you. Definitely welcoming everybody and everybody. But so far, nobody's been able to challenge MJ Povey's time at the top. They're still in the pit lane. Looks like Quimbulas has gotten a time in, is on a 32.1 P4 at the moment. Look for those times from the Division 1 drivers to fall inside the 31s, I would say, pretty much consistently across. But you see Awakens really attacking the S's there, and his teammate right behind, and he's got himself a purple Sector 1. As he comes up into turn 8, the quick flick from that long right-hander to the left-hander of turn 9, and that downhill little kink of turn 10. There's a few yellow flags on the circuit, but that is no incidents, it would appear. It looks to be just cars on their in and out laps letting cars that are on their flying laps through. So everybody being very respectful on this set of qualifying times, not getting in anybody's way, which was a concern coming into this qualifying session after Week 1 was everybody, with about 10 other drivers. Now Week 2, we've got 19 drivers on the grid, so plenty of opportunity for traffic around, but we'll see how Awakens does through the final corners. I believe he is on a flying lap and not his in-lap here. I would say that purple first sector would indicate that he is pushing it. A good run through turn 19. That's how you kind of take a lot of curb on the entry. He's spent all of his electrical energy. He crosses the line of 131.002, so knocking right on the door of MJ Povey's pole time at the moment, as we are now below the halfway point of this qualifying session. Now, as far as a full out lap, fast lap, and then an in lap, if you're doing them pretty close together, you're typically going to get about 3 opportunities to set flying laps in this 18-minute session. That being said, if you have an invalidation early on and you dive into the pit lanes, you might be able to get a 4th one in before the final time. Thing to remember that the track kind of rubbers in. Goes from green to rubbered in, and you get a little bit more grip in the final 5 minutes of a qualifying session. So look for cars to go out very late and maybe try and avoid a bit of a queue up, but trying to set their fastest laps right at the tail end of the session. The Fast 6 driver getting a little bit too aggressive on the throttle there, coming out of turn 14. An easy spot to do it. And that's going to cost a few tenths of time to him there, so we may see him abort this lap and dive right in. He's already on about a 122, 123, and yeah, it looks like he is coming straight to the pit lane and is going to abort that one. So here we are with Golly Mooms, who seems to be pushing along just fine on his flying lap here. We'll see how he navigates turn 19. Easy to run wide and catch an invalidation there, but it's also easy to, you kind of play for the understeer of that corner, and he's able to just pass up Quimbulas going up into P5, but it's easy to account for the understeer of turn 19 and try and get to that apex early, but you may overgrip the car sometimes and just cut that corner and invalidate through there. But here we are on with MJ Povey already holding the provisional pole time, so we'll see if he's going to be able to set an even faster lap as he heads down into the braking zone of turn 12. Nice and late on the brakes, very firm through there, good throttle control exiting there as well. Alejandra Hayes coming to the tail end of his fast lap here. Looks like he's going to be in the 32s, crossing the line. 32.459 puts him P7. Has gotten ahead of the Division 1 drivers of Vokey and Onslaught there at the moment. And 4 drivers so far have yet to set a valid time. MD the first, Gibble 32, Marco Donaldson, the defending race winner from Week 1, and WSGB. So look for those guys. It looks like one driver, Wall Street, has set a lap time of 33.7. So he's gotten himself on there. It looks like MJ Povey has dipped into the pit lane, not looking to improve the time there, was not happy with his lap, was going to abort it, put on some fresh boots, and then wait for that final 5-minute section to really try and put in a better final lap time. Now this division is assists enabled. Both divisions are currently, so you'll see a difference in the throttle traces between some drivers. You may find those who are running traction control or those who are not. You'll see a different way that they get on the power out of slower corners. And then same with anti-lock brakes. You'll see some fill that red bar and be able to really mash it down. Others are going to have to modulate their brake pressures to keep the car from locking up and maintain a little bit of pace there. Typically, you're going to get a better opportunity for getting right up to the edges of grip without the assists, but it is at the sacrifice of consistency. So some drivers have opted to keep a few of the assists on in the top division. Others are running completely assistless. Voki has a purple Sector 2 at the moment. He's on a pretty solid flying lap here and definitely has some room to improve on that 32.623 he's done earlier. So it's like one of the Mercedes getting out of the way, entering that fast triple right-hander. Now if you can just navigate this left-hander, yeah, it's right up to the curbing there. Great view of the car diving in. He's on the brakes, looks to be on for a good time, runs a little wide, able to avoid the invalidation. Does a 31.142, jumps himself up into P3. So a fantastic time from him there. We're on with Awakens as he's starting his flying lap in the first sector here. Will likely be his last opportunity at a flying lap. It won't have enough time to get back to the pit lanes and then slap a new set of tires on. But we are in that last 5 minutes of the session here, so the track is at that kind of evolved state. So keep an eye for times to start dropping and people starting to make some moves all over the grid. It looks like we still have 8 cars in the pit lane at the moment. So right around now, you'll see guys starting to make their way out onto the course to give themselves enough time to get around their out lap and start their flying lap before the checkered flag is waved. A Fast 6 driver on the move at the moment. Racer 04 on a lap of his own. Coming into the final corner, turn 20. Looks like he'll be in the 31s crossing the line. 31.374. Moves himself just above Fast 6 driver. MJ Povey has an invalidated lap going currently, so we'll jump off of him. We'll see who is putting up some lap times. With Sam Beam 13 in the Mercedes. Looking to improve on that 35.1 that he's got in the bank right now. We'll see what his Sector 2 split is going to be. A 104.3, so he's looking to be on pace for about a 134 or so. The final sector, once you hit that third split, typically between 30 and 31 seconds is a pretty decent lap time around there. Real quick guys are down into the 29-second range. But Awakens' long run through that first sector, looks like he's just kind of working the car back to the pit lane, I would say. Oh no, that's just a mistake in a timing graphic. He is definitely on a fast lap. You see that number 2 next to his ERS, meaning he is in the hot lap mode. It looks like he's also going to get the opportunity for a little bit of a slipstream on It's Baker, although It's Baker is on a fast lap of his own. This might catch Awakens out, may not give him the opportunity. And he dives up the inside, makes a racing overtake move there, but what time he gained in the slipstream might be cost in trying to make that maneuver, although he is just over about the 101 mark, crossing that sector split, so if he's able to turn in a good final sector, he could still be down in the low 31s, although he'd have to have a pretty mega final sector to improve on that 31.0. MJ Povey across the checkered line there as the flag is waved. Holds on to that 130.974. Provisional pole. Awakens does not improve there. Voki is in the pit lane. He is going to stay on that 131.1. We're on with Gali Mooms as he is going to be one of the next to cross the start-finish line, trying to not invalidate on the outside, looking to improve on his 31.6. Crosses the line, goes 31.330, moves himself just ahead of Racer 04. And we've got MD the first, the one who, when he joined, confused us with M. Donaldson. They both kind of refer to themselves as MDs on the Discord. So the first was the second, and it confused everybody for a little while. So we're still sorting that one out, but he's a Division 2 driver putting up pretty excellent pace. And you know, some of the differences between Division 1, Division 2 drivers is not just down to outright pace, as Quimbulas crosses the checkered flag there, goes to a 31.445, moves himself up into P7, but is MD the first going to pip that spot for him? It goes to a 4.36, so not even a 100th of a second splitting those two. It looks like the last few cars are making their way into the pit lanes, as the AI has taken control of everybody who's got the checkered flag around. But your provisional starting lineup here is going to be MJ Povey and Awakens on the front row, Voki, Fast 6 driver, Gallimooms, Racer04, MD the first, Quimbulas, Onslaught, Alejandra Hayes, Chuck SRQ, AWD Turbo Guy, the Kel 89, Calcurdo, WS Gaber, Gibby 32, Sam Beam 13, It's Baker, and Marco Donaldson unable to set a lap time. Had some connection issues. I saw him bouncing in and out of the session, but looks like he wasn't able to complete a valid lap, unfortunately. So he, the race winner last week, will be having to fight his way back up through the field. I'll take this time to once again thank the subreddits of our Formula 1, where this league originated at the start of lockdown, and then also F1 Game joining us for this season as well, getting a little bit more action from some of their moderators and admins in order to help us out with some of the broadcast side, most notably actually the PC Division 1 broadcast, which I get to take a part in as well. It has a live broadcast and a whole team of people helping to bring that one to you. But we will confirm MJ Povey taking the pole position for this second race here in Circuit of the Americas. Marco Donaldson, defending race winner, won here last season and took the first win of the season here in Australia, starting from the back of the field. Looks like just a tiny bit of cloud cover for the race, but no threat of rain in the weather reports. Be interesting to take a look now down the field, as everybody in the top 10 qualified on the soft tire. So we'll see if anybody outside of the top 10 is looking to make a alternate strategy work around here. Typically, we will be mostly looking for, barring any damage, one-stop strategies out of most of the drivers, trying to stretch those soft tires towards lap 10 or 11, and then going on to either the hard or the medium tire. The medium tire should last those 19 laps to the end of this 50% distance race, but they will definitely need a little bit of management in order to get there. The hard tire you can push on, but grip levels on the hard tire around this track are not particularly great, so it's not the fastest tire to be utilizing. We may also see some two-stoppers around this circuit. There is kind of a fairly even time distribution between the 1 and 2 stop. It's just a matter of how hard you can push on those fresh tires. But MJ Povey leading the field away from the formation lap. So we've got Awakens, Voki, Chuck picking up a DSQ. That's interesting to see. We'll have to see if that might be just a bug in the game and if he's able to get onto the grid. But working now, we got Gallimooms, Racer04 in the Renault. MD the first grabs the Division 2 pole position, essentially. Quimbulas right behind him in the Williams. Onslaught 33 takes the other Renault. Alejandra Hayes in the Racing Point, the next spot down. AWD Turbo Guy is in the Haas, teammate of MD the First. The Kel, teammate of Alejandra Hayes in the other pink Racing Point. And there you see the predicted stop strategies on the screen. They're looking to take the soft tires to lap, like I said, about 10 or 11. You can push the medium tire as far as about 20 laps. They definitely start to suffer at the end, but if you're having issues with the temperatures in the soft tires at the early phases of the race and high degradation, it may be worth getting off of those as soon as you can and going on to that medium tire as quickly as possible and kind of just suffering the end of the race here. But on the heavy fuel loads, definitely going to have to manage some of the tire temperature. Front tire pressures are typically pretty low around this track in order to help keep those temperatures down, because the cars definitely lean very hard on those front tires. There's a lot of very quick changes of direction. That S section, you lean very hard on the tire through turn 17 and 18, and turn 19 is a real quick flick in that really can heat up that front right quite rapidly as well. But we'll see who can get the best run off the line. See if MJ Povey can maintain that leading position into turn 1 as they climb up the hill. It allows for some very late braking, and it is a very wide entry that tightens up on exit, so there's plenty of opportunity for a kerfuffle to happen. So here's Marco Donaldson bringing it around as the rest of the grid has fairly much formed up. He is on the medium tire, so look for him to be going long at the start of the stint here. But as he pulls into his pit box, everybody else is losing tire temperature, gaining engine temperature, and now it is time for those lights to come up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights are up, and the lights are out, and off they go. MJ Povey gets away fairly decently, although Awakens is right alongside. MJ Povey having a little squeeze, but it looks like Awakens is going to take P1 down the inside. Povey squeezed a little wide. Voki having to make him some avoiding action. We've got cars 2 and 3 wide behind coming out of turn 1, but it looks like Awakens has gotten a great jump off the start there as everybody starts filing through the S's. MJ Povey already picking up a track limits penalty there. You see a Renault going across the runoff. Calcurto towards the back of the field, and Gibby, the first retirement of this session. His car wrecked in the middle of the track. Calcurto luckily able to avoid contact there. Surprisingly, no safety car has been called. There is some yellow flags up in Sector 2. Looks like somebody may have gotten it wrong coming out of turn 10. We've got quite the train now coming through the straight the first time. Povey's going to have a look down the inside of Awakens, trying to take that position back. Completely obliterates the bollard, but has gotten his P1 back, although Awakens carrying great momentum, has to get out of it to avoid getting into the back of MJ Povey. But it looks like Povey has gotten his P1 position back before the end of the first lap there. Looks like MD the First has gone wide. Quimulus and Golly Mooms moving up. Racer 04 dropping down. Quimulus right up behind him there as well. So we've got movement up and down the field right now. We are staying with the front of the pack where there is quite a fight going on for that P1 position. Awakens gets the back end just a little bit loose on the exit there. We see, Quimulus dropping way down. It looks like he has had an issue. Wonder if he has picked up some damage as well. We'll have to keep an eye and see what happens there. Marco Donaldson into the pits, Calcurto into the pits. It looks like they both may have been part of the lap 1 incident through the S's the first time by. And definitely an error in the left screen there, just correcting itself. Golly Mooms had not jumped all the way to the front. He is still running in P5, about a second behind Fast 6 driver, but our top 4 drivers all within touching distance of each other. MJ Povey, Awakens, Voki, and Fast 6 driver. Got another yellow flag in Sector 2. It looks like Onslaught has gone around, as has AWD Turbo Guy. They've dropped back down, and here comes Fast 6 driver picking up the slipstream. Overtake active. Voki not using any overtake to defend, but Fast 6 covering the outside. Voki having to take avoiding action in the braking zone. Fast 6 not leaving much space for him there. looks like MJ Povey, as they get ready to start lap 3, is just outside of that 1 second mark, and that's crucial because the DRS will become available as soon as MJ Povey crosses that start-finish line. So he does have a little bit more. It's about a full sector and a half to extend that gap, as the next DRS detection zone isn't until the end, coming down the hill towards turn 11. So he is looking to open that gap up, but as we look down the field, there are plenty of cars and plenty of opportunity inside that 1 second range at the moment. Chuck SRQ right up behind Racer 04, challenging that Division 1 set of drivers. And MD the First also in Division 2, riding right behind Chuck SRQ. So able to keep that car running quite nicely. Showed very good pace in qualifying. We'll see if he maintains the consistency throughout the race to have a good start. But right now, that puts Chuck SRQ as the current Division 2 leader, as we are going to be splitting the division results. Cars from Division 1 caught in incidents that have mixed their way in, as Vokey having a look down the inside of Fast 6 driver, still side by side. Fast 6 kind of squeezing in. They're battling it out as they head towards turns 15 and 16. It looks like Fast 6 driver just gonna get that job held off there, and Vokey picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limits warnings. And that's one thing that's gonna be a story throughout this race, is not only the action on the track and overtakes, but also managing your penalties. Like I was saying in qualifying, lots of time is right up next to track limits, and especially when you're carrying either high fuel or you start to get a set of tires wearing out, it's very easy to have the car kind of get a little wide on you, understeer through a corner and cause you to miss an apex, run wide on an exit, or you just kind of misestimate that understeer and turn in too soon and cut the corner. Vokey trying to stay within that 1 second margin as he is chasing down Fast 6 drivers. Still about 8/10 back, but as they cross the detection point, he will have DRS down this next main straight. Tough to stay within that 1 second margin coming through the S's like that. Such an aero-dependent part of the track that you really get caught in the dirty air, and it causes a significant amount of trouble. And to make an overtake down this back straight, if you have DRS, you're going to want to be about within a half second of the car in front as you exit turn 11. Otherwise, you're going to close up on the main straight, but there's just not going to be quite enough overspeed to fully catch him there. You see Vokey still about 1 second back of Fast 6 driver. Like down towards the bottom of the field, we've got a scrap between Onslaught and Calcurdo over P16, and it looks like Onslaught is just going to get that one quite done, but we'll drop back to P6 on board with the Renault of Racer 04 chasing down Golly Moons 5 in front, and Chuck SRQ in Division 2's leader right behind them there. So let's see if they can hang inside the S's, deal with that dirty air, and be able to be close enough to make a move down the long back straight. But you see the amount of understeer that Chuck is picking up through those S's. The dirty air really hurting the ability of the car to turn into the corner. See just a little bit of rear slippage coming out of turn 9 there, that little left-handed kink as you go over the crest of the hill. Area where you're going to see a lot of cars losing rear traction, but here's Racer 04. He's about that half a second gap as I was talking about last lap. Now he's got DRS open, not using overtake just yet. It looks like Golly Moons is going to be using overtake to defend. He's not going to be able to go all the way in on it. I think if he had used the overtake, overcooks it onto the braking zone. Nearly gets into the back of Golly Moons, but is just able to get that car slowed down. Very close moment there, and that's going to cost him quite a bit of time through the final sector here, as he wants to try and stay within that 1 second, but now he's going to catch a little bit of that aero wash through this fast right-hander, and Normally in clean air, even regardless of if your tires are starting to go off, you can take that fast right-hander pretty much flat out. But if you're in the wash, in that dirty air, you are going to really suffer, and you're going to have to kind of modulate your throttle to keep it held down. But here's Calcurto catching up to Quimbulas, who had that first lap incident at the end, but so did Calcurto. Big lockup from Quimbulas into turn 12. Calcurto doing well to chase Quimbulas down. Quimbulas had a rough first race in Australia. Several spins over the course of that one. Finished P8 and grabbed some soft tires to go with the fastest lap at the end, but definitely not the weekend that he was looking for at the season opener. We've got Fast 6 driver closing up on Awakens, having a little bit of a look as they get to turn 12, but not quite close enough there. Going to have to sit for another lap. Maybe use this opportunity to recharge some of that battery to make an attack the next time through. But MJ Povey out front has opened up a 2.5 second lead to Awakens and is definitely making good use of those soft tires early. Still a few more laps to go before the cars that have not yet pitted are going to come in and get inside that pit window for those soft tires. So we will see who's able to make the moves early on. But it looks like Fast 6 driver chasing down Awakens at this early stage of the race. A little bit of a lockup into turn 1, but a very good line through there, able to really get right on the gearbox. Looks like we've got Gally Mooms into the pits. He is on to a fresh set of soft tires, so it looks like he is going to be committing to the two-stop strategy today. And that's going to let the Kell in the racing point go through. And Fast 6 driver just trying to maintain connection with Awakens. Awakens, and Fast 6 both loose coming over that hill. Very low grip area. Tank slappers galore is the name of that corner, essentially. But it looks like Awakens is going to be in a bit of trouble coming down into turn 12. You see that overtake on, although he's running low on battery, trying to use that slipstream. Awakens trying to break that toe, but he's going to leave the inside open as Fast 6 goes down the inside, carries the pace all the way to the outside exit curve and closes him up. But, contact as a Fast 6 was earlier on the break. Awakens gets into the back of him. Is that going to be? And it is. You see that wing end plate is missing, so that's going to be costing him some pace going forward. Just overcooked the entry on the battle. Maybe a little too aggressive to try and catch up in there, but that little bit of a rear end touch there is going to likely make him come into the pit lane. Luckily, it is about the lap window that you can pit into, so you can definitely make that one work. But it is going to cost him a few extra seconds in the pits. Vokey coming into the pit lane as well. We'll see if they're going onto the hard or the medium tires for these guys. So new front wing is on that Red Bull. Looks like we got a set of medium tires going on to Vokey's Alfa Romeo, and it's another set of softs for Awakens, so committing to a two-stop strategy there. Chuck SRQ in the pits onto a set of medium tires. Alejandra Hayes onto a set of softs, so it looks like we're going to have a pretty good mix of one- and two-stop strategies today. Gallions and Awakens coming out of the pit lane, running line astern, the two Red Bulls holding P8 and P9. So MJ Povey, with that battle between Fast 6 driver and Awakens, has opened up now about a 4-second gap to Fast 6 driver, so that's going to help him be immune to one track limits penalty over his following rival. But we've got Vokey down the inside of the Kell 89 into turn 11, and that's going to also mean he's going to have the DRS to try and run away from him. And Golly Moons has DRS on the Kell. The Kell looking to lose 2 positions in this one sector here. Golly Moons holding the inside part of the track on the braking zone there, not allowing Kell to turn in and take that position. And Golly Moons has got that move done right by the books. So now he's got his eyes ahead on Vokey. Gallimooms is on a softer compound. He's got to try and make that quicker compound work early on. MJ Povey into the pit lane now. Lap 9, looks like he's going onto the hard tire to go to the end of the race to manage his pace. Doesn't necessarily have to take the risk of going onto a softer medium tire. He can go onto that hard tire and defend his position throughout the rest of this race if it comes to it. But that means Racer 04 in the Renault is inherited the lead out front. Vokey comes out of the pits, comes out just behind WSGB. We've got Gallimooms now within a second, as is Awaken. So looks like 4 cars all kind of in the same area of track, as Mikel getting a little out of shape coming through the S's. Marco Donaldson on to another set of softs after that early pit stop, so he's going to be pushing through. WSGB getting kind of out of the way of Vokey there. Maybe had a bit of a moment coming through turn 10. Looks like we missed it, but a lot of traffic here coming out of turn 11. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. There's a slow car going there, but looks like they've got themselves moving once again. I believe that's an Alpha Tauri of It's Baker there, but Vokey, so you got 3 wide into the braking zone as Awaken sends it down the inside. Gallimooms also looking to pick up a little bit of an opportunity there. Vokey losing out, trying to make that move on WSGB early into turn 11, cost him the DRS down that long straight, and that put him at risk of both of the Red Bulls there. But both of the Red Bulls on the soft tire, working the 2-stop strategy. Vokey can go to the end on those medium tires, so even though he's lost that position on track, as long as he can stay within about 10 seconds or so of these 2 Red Bulls over the course of their stint, he's going to be in position to easily jump them when they make their next pit stops. MJ Povey is only about 5.5 seconds back of Racer 04, who is still yet to pit. We've got MD the first chasing down the Kel 89, who seems to be struggling on those soft tires at the moment. We'll see, it looks like he's just kind of setting himself up. Cumulus picking up a pit lane speeding penalty. We did see when they were coming to the pit lanes, the Red Bulls there, that pit lane marker board was missing. Maybe that caught him out, but MD the first getting the elbows out a little bit into turn 11 has made that move on the Kel 89 and has kept the DRS to boot. But Marco Donaldson also has swept through. He's going to have a look down the inside of MD the first. A bit of a lockup into turn 12. Not quite able to get fully enough alongside MD the first to get that one over to Marco. Definitely going to be trying to carve his way up through the field after having no valid lap time, and then getting caught in an early incident. But up to P10 at the moment, only has to make one more stop over the rest of this race here. It has set himself up kind of evenly with a lot of the other 2 stoppers, even though the first one took some extra time for him and was very early on. But he will easily be able to go to the medium tire to finish the race off on in a few laps' time. Jump up with Chuck SRQ, who earlier on was leading the Division 2 race, but right now WSGB is leading currently the Division 1, or Division 2 rather, standings here, although I believe Wall Street still has to make another pit stop before the end of this race. Chuck SRQ in a very good spot to go to the end on these medium tires, I believe. But the field definitely starting to stretch out a bit. Looks like this is the only battle that is within 1 second at the moment, so we'll stay on board and see how this one develops. Not quite close enough to make an attack into turn 12 here, but he definitely has had very good pace getting on the back of Wall Street here. MJ Povey has closed up at the front to within 1.5 seconds of Racer 04, who is Probably stayed out a little too long on his current set of tires. But MJ Povey looks ready to re-inherit the lead fairly soon, maintaining about a 4.2 second gap over Fast 6. Now here's another fight going on. Alejandra Hayes on his teammate goes on the inside of turn 17 and 18. A brave way to do it, but definitely needs some extra tires in order to make that one stick. Chuck SRQ with DRS as they head towards turn 1. Is he going to go for that cutback to get the run down the hill? Not quite enough there, but he should be able to follow fairly closely behind, as Wall Street hasn't been particularly great through the S's. We'll keep an eye on the timing screens as that goes on, but we're going to jump on board with MJ Povey, who has closed himself up to the back of Racer 04, who's stayed out 12 laps now on those soft compounded tires. They are definitely over the cliff at this stage, so should be a fairly easy job for Povey to go by, not even using the overtake button. And down into turn 12, reclaims the race lead. Chuck closing on Wall Street. This time he's going to go around the outside of turn 12, gets it clear of him, shuts the door just a little bit, but has now made his way through. Now MD the first really looking to try and get through WSGV, but that's going to open the door for Marco Donaldson, who's kind of tiptoeing his way through. And MD the first, fairly rapid so far, as evidenced by his qualifying time, but seems to have a little bit to learn in wheel-to-wheel battles. We see a lot of late adjustments from him and near hits and slight touches. Ooh, as they get tangled going through turn 19, Marco Donaldson has gone around with MD the first. And he is into the pit lane. It is within the window. We'll see if that is wing damage for him. But he should have time to go down into the medium tires to go to the end of the race here. It looks like he is serving a 5-second penalty, maybe? Looks like something has gone on with that car. But he is coming out of the pit lane in P11 at the moment. A few cars going by down to P13, but Kel 89 catching right up to Onslaught there on the medium tires. We'll see if he's going to be able to be within a close enough run to make an overtake. Running a little bit wide through turn 6 there, but recovers it nicely to get right back on the line for turn 7. Onslaught on the soft tire in front of him, so he should have a little bit of extra pace in those tires depending on the age over the Kel 89. Great run out of turn 11. Is he going to have a look very late on the brakes into turn 12, but way misses the corner. 5-second corner cutting penalty. Onslaught having to avoid him on the re-entry there, but just absolutely overcooked it onto that one, trying to make that overtake stick. Maybe a little bit more ambition than adhesion, as Martin Brundle loves to say, but it looks like he's gone around as well as he got on the throttle out of turn 16. So yes, there's that ghosted car. He has spun on the exit of turn 16, now trying to get that car back up to speed. So Onslaught now into the pit lane. Racer 04 has made his pit stop and is now also onto the medium tire, catching right up to the back of Wall Street. Should have a pretty easy time getting by him. Looks down the inside through that left-handed kick, able to get that one done. Now, was he a little too early? Is that going to cost him the opportunity at having DRS? We'll see when he crosses the line. It looks like Wall Street is going to have the DRS on him, so he may be able to fight his way back. We've got Awakens, who's caught himself back up to Fast 6 driver. MJ Povey still holding about a 4.3 second lead out front there. But the P2, P3 has not been decided just yet. We're still just at about the halfway point of this race here. We got MJ Povey out front, Fast 6 driver P2, followed very closely by Awakens. Then about 6.5 seconds down the road is his Red Bull teammate, Golly Mooms 5. Voki in the Alfa Romeo's P5. Chuck SRQ, Division 2's race leader at the moment, in P6 overall. Racer 04 in P7. Wall Street in P8. Alejandra Hayes in P9. And AWD Turbo Guy rounding out the top 10. But Marco Donaldson on a charge, trying to make his way back into the top 10 as a Division 1 driver. We've got the Kel 89, Sam Bean, Onslaught, Calcurdo, Quimulus, and It's Baker. Only one retirement so far, and that is the Alpha Tauri of Gibby 32. And here's Voki trying to set up a run on Golly Mooms here. Golly Mooms on the soft tires should get good traction on the exit. Voki with that DRS assistance and that overtake, although his battery running quite low. Looks like he's had to turn the power deployment down a little bit. Not quite going to be able to attack. He's going to have to save a little bit more energy if he's going to make that one stick. Had a tiny bit of a look at going for the cutback there, but not quite enough pace differential to dive up the inside. Those soft tires still working quite well for Gully, but Voki doing exactly what he needs to do on those medium tires that he should be able to take all the way to the end. Although side by side as they're going through turns 17 and 18, Voki having a little look down the inside as Golly Mooms went kind of wide. But Voki now taking that position as Golly dives into the pit lane. So a bit of a risky maneuver. We got yellow flags in sector 3. It looks like it's Baker down in the exit of turn 16, but Awakens just trying to get past Fast 6, and It's Baker is going to retire in the Alpha Tauri there. So we have a double retirement in the Alpha Tauris here, unfortunately, a double DNF for them. But Awakens showing very good pace, just not able to catch up to Fast 6 in the proper parts of the track. He's catching him in kind of the non-overtaking zones, which is making the job quite a bit difficult as he has to drop back a little bit, and that's going to cost him the spacing that he needs on the actual main overtaking zone. You see DRS open, use a little bit of overtake coming out of the corner, but not going to be close enough to have any kind of challenge down into turn 12. Fast 6 driver, though, locking up on the brakes there, but MJ Povey still 4.5 seconds out in the lead. Big gainer of the race so far. Marco Donaldson up 9 positions now into the top 10. Like Quimulus has just made his way past Sam Beam, Division 1 driver trying to cut his way back through the field after an early spin on lap 1 there, and looks like he's gotten off those hard tires he put on earlier and gone onto the medium tires, so those hard tires not working for him has dropped him right back down to the back of the field, looking now to go to the end of the race on that set of medium tires. But it looks like we've got a couple of cars, Wall Street and Alejandro diving into the pit lane. Should be their last pit stop of the session with only 11 laps left to go in this one. Awakens has fallen outside of that 1 second mark of Fast 6 driver, has maybe used up all of what those soft tires have to give at this stage, but Racer 04 on his medium tires chasing down Chuck SRQ. Got a yellow flag in Sector 1. Looks like Wall Street has gone wide off into Turn 1 there. Some ghosting as those two cars are going side by side. Alejandro and MD the first. Racer 04 all over the gearbox of Chuck SRQ. Now the closest battle on track at the moment. We'll see how Racer 04 does following through this long right-hander, or if that dirty air is going to catch him out at all. You see him running just a little bit wide there, getting towards that outside exit curb. You really feel the car just start sliding off the outside when you get on that, but still maintaining a pretty close follow. Awakens is into the pit lane on his two-stop strategy. DRS is open for Racer 04, but it looks like Chuck is just going to have a little bit more early acceleration, although, yep, maybe an overzealous look at a lunge there if he had done it, but he rather wisely stays behind Chuck SRQ. In a way, this race on track is not really for position, it being between a Division 1 and Division 2 driver, which is kind of the unfortunate side effect of keeping the division points separate while combining the on-track action. But we wanted just a little bit more visual on-track action for everybody to see. Having 19 cars on track is a whole lot better than having a race of 8, a race of 11. Ooh, a little bit of a touch as Racer 04 gets into the back of Chuck SRQ as Awakens coming out of the pit lane, coming very fast through Sector 1. Now has the DRS open and is going to make his way past Awakens. Racer 04 just getting a little deep and making contact. Hopefully not taking any wing damage on that one, but it looks like Awakens has secured that move over Chuck. Alberto now right behind AW Turbo guy, who's just picked up another 3-second penalty. They are following with Sam Beam, so we've got a little bit of a three-way scrap going here for P14. 3 Division 2 drivers all together. AW Turbo guy, if he can get a good exit here, may be able to have an attack down the long straight. Has saved up a lot of energy. Might want to use some of that ERS for the extra pace at some point. I mean, you don't necessarily want a totally full battery all the time, but there it is. Overtake button turns green, deploying everything he's got. I'm sure Sam Beam is using his overtake to try and defend that position. But the DRS and the overtake is just too much for Sam Beam to fight from. Calcurto, though, now the next up to try and make his way past Sam Beam 13. We are on with Quimulus catching up to the Kel 89. He's on his medium tires, looking to go to the end of the race on that. Division 1 driver with some problems, having to fight his way back through the race. But after a relatively poor result for him in Australia, it looks like his home race of Coda not necessarily going too much better. But here's Racer 04 now around the outside of Chuck SRQ. Chuck on the inside, a little bit of a cut of that corner. He might definitely picked up a track limits warning there. Lucky to not pick up the outright cut penalty, but it looks like Racer 04 has finally gotten that job done and gotten past him, and should now be able to look ahead to try and face down Awakens in front of him for a podium position almost. Although Voki is still out there, we'll have to see how he is doing with penalties. But jumping back down to the Williams of Quimulus, catching up to the Kel 89, this time with DRS. Overtake on the battery running out, but should have plenty of open wing there, plenty of overspeed to make that move stick early on. Stays right there on the braking zone. Teeny bit of a lockup, but able to get that move done on the Kel 89. Now up into P12 overall, with Division 1 rival Onslaught just about 1.5 seconds further up the road. Sam Beam picking up a track limits penalty. You saw him go to the inside of turn 19. That's kind of what I was talking about when you plan for the cars, understeer into that corner. Sometimes it just grips right up and you end up cutting that corner. WSGB, setting fastest lap of the race, has gone out and put on some fresh soft tires, likely using quite a bit of fuel mode there in order to set that fast lap. Only 7 laps up to go in this one, and he's looking to chase down his Mercedes teammate. Sam Beam running wide through turn 8. In a way, just getting out of the way of a much faster teammate on a different strategy, different set of tires, allowing him now to run up the field and attack Calicurto. Should have a great exit compared to those hard tires, with those soft tires gripping up. The DRS is open, and you can see him moving to the inside and breezing right on past that McLaren. No other battles on the track right now within 1 second of each other, closest being Raquel and Voki, who are both about 1.2 to 1.4 seconds back of their next rivals. But MJ Povey running a fairly smooth race out front. We'll have to see if he's carrying some time penalties. Fast 6 driver still within 6 seconds, so 2 sets of penalties would demote MJ Povey, although he's got the hard tire on that will pretty easily last him to the end of the race. Not as fast as the medium tire, but definitely a good strategy go on. Made that one-stop strategy work quite well. Quite a few other cars going with a 2-stop strategy, but the top 3 very, very spaced out at this point. Fast 6 driver, 5.2 seconds back. Awakens, 14.8 seconds back of Fast 6. Racer 04, 6 seconds back of Awakens. Now, I have seen Awakens pick up a fair number of penalties coming up on the bottom of the screen, so it could be that Racer 04 might be in a podium position as Voki is trying to chase down Golly Moons to move up into P5 overall in this race here. Voki is on those soft tires, much quicker compound than what Golly Moons is on. I believe Golly is on the medium tire at this stage. You can see that little flash of yellow as Voki moves alongside, but right up underneath that gearbox is going to be a tough way to follow through there. We'll see. He had a thought of going side by side into the S's, but thought better of it. But you see the way that car suffers through the dirty air. Patience is the key at this moment. He's got a bit more tire life and a lot more grip than Golly Moons does right now, so he should be able to make that move stick. However, looking at that battery deployment running extremely low, Golly Moons may be able to fend off the DRS if he has a good exit and overtake mode, but it looks like Voki might just have enough energy to make it work, although the DRS open, Golly Moons defending with that overtake. Here we go, Voki to the inside, running a little wide on the exit. Maybe Golly can get a little bit of a run around the outside, but no, he's just going to have to get his foot out of it. Had a little bit of a look to the outside, but that door shut fairly quickly for him. Not able to stick his nose in there. Probably not wise to stick his nose in there, but unfortunately, Golly Moons dropping now back a place to Voki, who is likely going to open up that gap on those soft tires over the remaining parts of this race. But only about 6 laps left to go in this one. And Golly Moons is close to Voki, although it looks like AWD Turbo Guy further down the grid has just pulled within 1 second of the Kel 89. Marco Donaldson has had a fairly decent recovery drive, even taking out the early lap 1 incident. He's still running P8 after starting P19 in the race, so has shown very good pace. I think he had the opportunity to qualify, could have started up in a better grid position, or he had gotten a valid lap in. Might be even challenging for a podium or even a race win, although MJ Povey has shown very good pace throughout the duration of this race, just kind of holding about a 6-second gap to Fast 6 driver for the majority of it. The Fast 6 in that Ferrari showing very good pace around Coda. Very good improvements at the tail end of Season 1 for him, and has really developed into quite the contender here at the early stages of Season 2. Here we are on board with AWD Turbo Guy, kind of massaging the throttle as the Kel running slower on those medium tires through the S's. AWD just trying to avoid contact with him through the S's. Not a good overtaking opportunity, but that has allowed Wall Street to catch right back up with those soft tires. Well, it looks like AWD is going to try and make a move on Mikel 89 into turn 12. Wall Street may even be able to make a move as well. So he is kind of side by side with Mikel, and this time makes that move stick. Those soft tires really showing some outright pace compared to that medium. The launch you get off of turn 11 on a set of soft tires is significant compared to what the mediums are going to give you. But ooh, Wall Street overcooking it on the exit of turn 16, and that allows Mikel right back through. So Wall Street having to make the job, do it twice to try and get up another position in the race, as that is a battle between 3 drivers in Division 2. Good launch off of turn 20 there. DRS open as they head up the hill to turn 1. Should be able to cover off Mikel quite nicely and has earned himself a little bit of cleanish air, still 1.1 seconds off of AWD through the S's, where clean air is very nice to have through those S's. That's going to be another lap, probably another warning. No penalty popping up for him there, but picking up the warnings does tend to get you in a little bit of trouble. But Mikel 89 now trying to fight his way to the end of this race. Only about 3 laps left to go. And we've still got MJ Povey out front by about 7 seconds, Awakens, Racer 04, and Voki rounding out the top 5. This little scrap between Wall Street and AWD is the closest on track right now, as he's trying to find his way past. This time they are both on the same tire. They're both on those soft compound tires, so not quite the tire advantage that they both had when getting past the Mikel 89. But Wall Street does have DRS coming down into turn 1, but how much electrical energy does AWD have to deploy in order to fight it back? Looks like plenty into turn 1 there as they sweep over the crest of that hill and launch right back down to head to the S's. Turbo Guy running a little bit wide there. That's going to allow Wall Street to catch right up onto his tail, although this slow corner with this little bit of a launch definitely is an opportunity. As ooh, somebody's gone around. That is Quimulus facing the wrong way coming out of turn 9, so a big issue for him. Looks like he's missing a front wing completely, so has had big contact with the wall coming out of turn 9, that area where the back end gets extremely light. But here we are, Wall Street with the DRS, with the overtake button, catching that slipstream as much as he can to launch his way past AWD Turbo Guy down in turn 12. Turbo Guy very late on the brakes there though, but Wall Street covering that inside line, not letting Turbo Guy turn in, and is able to secure that position from him. Now here's Marco Donaldson underneath the rear wing of Alejandra Hayes. Marco having a look to try and get past the Division 2 driver. Having a look around the outside, an unconventional way to take, especially as Alejandro was leaving the inside to him, but Marco Donaldson on the soft tire there with the DRS. Fairly easily done through there, and he's going to streak his way to the rest of the race here. That soft tire should give him a very good opportunity at picking up the fastest lap late in this race. There's one thing that did happen in Australia in week 1. Marco Donaldson was carrying the lead of the race and that fast lap point towards the very end, but a late spin from Quimulus, and he came in for a new front wing change, also grabbed a set of soft tires and went for the fastest lap late in the race, keeping Marco from taking that bonus point there. Voki is starting to close up on Racer 04, but is it going to be enough? We've only got 2 laps left to go in this race. MJ Povey nearly 8 seconds out in the lead now. Quimbulas into the pits. Had made his way around, but well off the back of the field now. He will likely try and put on a set of soft tires that have seen a little bit of qualifying running as Marco Donaldson goes at 132.803. Very, very quick fast lap of the race so far as he is charging through 22 seconds back of Chuck, so not going to gain any more positions on track, it would appear. Maybe Quimbulas grabbing that set of tires might be able to go for the fast lap, maybe steal it from Marco 2 weeks in a row. But Voki really working to get past Racer 04. The soft tires that Voki's had on for a few laps now, so definitely are starting to lose a little bit of their traction, but they seem to still be working a little bit better than the medium tires that Racer 04 has on. But with only 1 lap left to go, Voki's going to have to make this move soon if he's going to move himself up one more position on the table. Managed to hang just around that half-second mark, a little bit wide through there, but Racer 04 is a little bit slower through there, so if he can stay within that half-second, we may be able to grab this one on the last DRS zone of the lap. However, he's got pretty low battery at the moment. He is going to recharge a little bit as they hits that braking zone, but only 15% battery as he starts the straight. May not be enough, depends on how much Racer 04 has in the tank here, but with the DRS open in the slipstream, Racer 04, is he going to be able to defend the position? Voki down the inside. As MJ Povey crosses the line, it looks like Racer 04 has gotten that position back. And that just might be the final opportunity that Voki has to get past Racer 04 as he's going to be in the dirty air through this long right-hander. Not going to be able to gain too much ground through there. MJ Povey crossed the line first. Fast 6 driver awakens P3 at the moment. We'll see Racer 04 now into the final corner just ahead of Voki. We'll see if anything changes. Racer 04 actually jumps to P3 on penalties there, as Awakens must have been carrying quite a significant number, as Golly Mooms even jumps him there. So Voki down P6, Chuck SRQ crossing the line P7, and also is the Division 2 winner there. We got MD the first and Alejandra Hayes coming through the last little bit to battle for the final 2 spots of the Division 2 podium. Alejandra Hayes picking up another time penalty. Marco Donaldson crossing the line ahead. Alejandra Hayes jumps up, and MD the first jumps over Marco Donaldson, so they will finish P8 and 9 overall, though Marco Donaldson had kind of stopped it on track before crossing the line there. But the Division 2 podium is going to be Chuck SRQ, Alejandro Hayes, and MD the first. And AWD Turbo Guy looks like he's going to be the last one to finish the laps of this race, just coming out of the final corner now to finish off our U.S. Grand Prix. And MJ Povey claiming his first win of the season. Marco Donaldson picking up the driver of the day for gaining 9 positions over the course of that race. A stellar performance from him there, just kind of caught out by a couple of incidents here and there and issues with connection on the podium there. But we've got MJ Povey P1, we've got Fast 6 driver P2, and we got Racer 04 rounding out the podium at the second round of this second season of the F1 Racing League season. So with that result, that actually moves Fast 6 driver up into P1 of the championship. His 2 second place finishes, putting him P1. Marco Donaldson is now second. MJ Povey jumps to P3 with his win. Awakens, Golly Mooms, Habs Fan Nick, Voki, Racer04, Onslaught, and Quimbulus. QX Nemesis DNF'd the first race and was not here for the second race, so he is still on 0 points. And K3M Rotolos and NGP Racer have yet to make their season debuts. But thank you for joining us for this mixed event, as we had both Division 1 and Division 2. Depending on how the league fills out, we may see a permanent combination of divisions, or if we have more people join, we will see these two divisions running separately like they did in week 1. But once again, go on to our F1 Racing League on Reddit and hit the sign up thread there. There are spots open in PC, Xbox, and the PS4 divisions. So join up and see us there. But thank you for joining me for this race. We will catch you as we head to Bahrain next. See you guys a little later. Peace.